So what goes into getting AEO working and getting found on the LLMs like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Google AI search results, etc. So there's a lot that goes into it, but let me just give you a general breakdown of what we see working best. So first of all, there's files on the site that you need to deal with. There's data that you need to deal with, metadata. You need to deal with things like llms.txt, which for most people probably doesn't exist unless you've already done some kind of AEO/GEO work before. And that's a file that basically informs the LLMs about your website, its content, what you're about, so forth. So I'm not going to go into deeper right now, but just so you know, you need to have an llms.txt file. There's also metadata across the site that needs to be set a certain way to optimize it for search engines. And so one of the things we'll do initially is we'll run a report and we'll basically figure out what metadata on the site needs to be adjusted. Interlinking between pages on the site. So you want to make sure that there's a linking between site pages. By the way, that's really old school SEO, but a lot of people just didn't do it then and they need to do it now. So it's no less important with AEO/GEO than it was with SEO. Content, making sure that you have lots of question and answer type content, FAQ type content, because the LLMs are very FAQ focused and that works very, very well. Going beyond that, there's some things that being found elsewhere on the internet by credible sites that talk about you is always a good thing, whether it's SEO or AEO/GEO. But what I will say is that the sites, the water coolers that they go to kind of stand around and figure out how to answer these questions are going to be different than it was with SEO. In some cases, there's overlap, but a lot of times what it's going to be is particular to the LLM in general. So for example, if you look at any prompt that you put in asking a question, the LLM in response will be citing a number of different sites that are authoritative to that LLM for gathering that answer. The good news is that unlike Google, who keeps everything very clandestine and doesn't ever tell you anything about their actual algorithm or how they rank things, the LLMs are a little bit more transparent. It's not like you know everything, but you definitely know some of the places that are being cited for as authorities in answering a particular prompt. So certainly putting a strategy in getting your brand mentioned in those places, listicles, mentions, social media sites, Facebook, Quora, Reddit, whatever it is, making sure that you're relevant there. And certainly there is a certain amount, despite what some people say, the rankings on SEO do influence some of the LLMs in terms of how they are listing people. They're going to find if you rank well in SEO, it's going to help you in AEO. That should not seem that strange, and it's not that strange, but it's not quite a one-to-one thing, and it depends on the LLM in question, how much it's being used. So you can do some experimentation yourself, but I've seen clients with zero AEO. They're like irrelevant to the LLMs, but they still get some references on them because of their good Google rankings. Anyhow, that's just some basics. I'll go into more detail on various subsections of that over time, but those are the things that we're looking at, amongst other things, in getting a brand found and visible to be cited by the LLMs.